The next morning, Thomas had a busy day. He wasn't feeling so happy and wanted to be with Hero. Just then, Percy popped by looking concerned. Percy was happy to help Thomas. He was on the tracks that he didn't know. Thomas was puffing back to Hero's hideout. He was thinking about helping him when he didn't notice Spencer racing behind him. Thomas raced away from Spencer as fast as he could, leaving Spencer very suspicious. Thomas didn't dare went to Hero's hiding place until much later. Thomas's engineer and fireman opened their toolboxes and started work. Then approximately 20 minutes later, Hero's new piston rods were in place. Thomas was steaming as fast as he could. He was late. He was about to puff through the Duke and Duchess of Boxford's new house when Spencer caught him. Thomas didn't answer as he sped away. Spencer ran after him. Just then, Spencer stopped by. All the way to the Soldier Steamworks, Thomas and Percy laughed and talked about Hero. Victor was surprised to see Thomas puffed in with Percy. Then Thomas saw more old parts. He knew Hero needed them and had to tell Victor about Hero. So Thomas told Victor everything about Hero, and he was amazed. Thomas and Percy were very happy that Victor teamed up with them. That night, Thomas was at Timothy Shad's when Topham Hatt came, looking very cross. The Fat Controller's voice echoed around Timothy Shad's from the ground to the sky. The other engines looked very concerned for Thomas. As the stars sparkled from outer space, Thomas told his friends literally everything about Hero. The engines had never heard such an amazing story. The next morning, Thomas was a really useful engine. He pulled, pushed both freight and passenger cars all around the island of Sodor, without stopping to ease his axles. Spencer watched every Thomas's wheel turn and piston pump. Instead of working the Duke and Duchess' summer house, Spencer was way too busy to see Thomas to see Gordon popped by with a flat car of old engine parts for Hero. Thomas and Gordon smiled at each other without speaking a single word. Thomas worked hard all day. He was going to the steamworks. Gordon was puffing by, beaming from buffer to buffer, happy to help Hero. Thomas and Gordon met each other as they stopped by. At the Sodor steamworks, sparks flew and cogs creaked. Percy was almost ready to leave. He and Thomas were excited to see Hero again. Then the Fat Controller arrived. He was cross. Thomas and Percy hopped and puffed to Hero's hideout. Then Percy saw Hero for the first time as he gasped. That made Thomas and Percy smile. On their way home, Thomas and Percy popped past the summer house. Neither of them saw Spencer as he was hiding in the shadows. The next morning, Thomas and Percy were busy finding Percy's mail cars. Emily was doing Thomas's work at his branch line and the main line. Spencer watched him as she didn't take any notice of him. This made Spencer very cross. He stared hard at Emily. Spencer stared so hard that he didn't see Thomas and Percy pop by over the bridge, nor did he see Edward pop by with a flat car with old engine parts for Hero. That evening, Thomas and Percy saw Hero again. Hero's boiler was completely finished and completely clean. His parts were in completely different colors, which made him a completely colorful engine. And for the first time, Thomas and Percy heard and saw Hero laughing loud, long, and happy. The next morning, Thomas and Percy were at Farquhar Quarry looking for the mail cars. They didn't see them. but they did see Spencer puffing towards them. Mavis was delighted to see Spencer for the first time at the quarry. Thomas and Percy thought it was the most hilarious moment. Spencer didn't think so. He scowled and didn't see James with a flat car of old engine parts for Hero. Mavis proudly took Spencer under the hopper. He rolled quickly, too slowly, then rolled back too far. Slate and rocks fell on him and smashed and bounced all around his boiler and smoke box. Thomas and Percy were taking on coal. Emily popped by with another flat car of old engine parts for Hero. Emily was very excited. As Emily crossed the junction, Thomas and Percy were very shocked. They saw Edward and Henry pushing and pulling Spencer to the Sodor Steamworks after the accident at the Farquhar Quarry. Spencer was dirty and damaged. Thomas and Percy were very happy that Spencer was gone and Hero at peace, looking like a really useful engine with more and more new parts. Thomas and Percy puffed into the steamworks. Then Victor saw that Spencer had closed his eyes because of the noise. Victor winked at Thomas as a signal. Then Thomas shoved carefully away from Spencer, and not to Hero with his new parts. Thomas really understood how hard it was for Hero to be away from home after so many years. He wanted to cheer him up so badly. That night, Thomas met the Fat Controller to the sheds again. He was cross.